His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai.
ISKCON BPT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Gaura Premanande
Io.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Tirayam Nashtaprayeshu Bhagaveshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8, Text number 8. I will read it. Tasya hava ena kunaka uchayir itasmin kritani chabhimana syahar ahas tat poshana palana lalana prina nanu dhyanenatma niyama saha yamaha purusha. It takes few seconds. You can, it's okay. It will come. Hare Krishna. Purusha paricharyadaya ekaikashaha katipayanaha ganena uyujyamana kila sarva evo namisam.
Sorry, one more time. Number text.
5, 8, 8. Word for word translation. Tasya of that king. Hava indeed. Inakunake in the dear calf. Uchahi greatly. Itasmin in this. Kritanija Abhimanasya, who accepted the calf as his own son. Aha. Every day. Tatposhana, maintaining that calf. Palana, protecting from dangers. Lalana, raising it or showing love to it by kissing and so on.
Raising it and showing love to it by kissing and so on.
Prinana, petting it in love. Anudhyanena, by such attachment. Atma niyamaha, his personal activities for taking care of his body. Sahayamaha, with his spiritual duties, such as non-violence, tolerance, and simplicity. Purusha parijarya adayaha, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead and performing other duties. Eka shaha, every day. Katipayana, with only a few. Aha ganena, days of time. Vyuchyamanaha,
Yamanaha,
being given up,
Vigna,
Kila, indeed, Sarve, all, Eva, certainly, Udavasan, became destroyed. Translation of Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Gradually, Maharaj Bharat became very affectionate toward the deer. He began to raise it and maintain it by giving it grass. He was always careful to protect it from the attacks of tigers and other animals. When it itched, he petted it, and in this way, he always tried to keep it in a comfortable condition. He sometimes kissed it out of love. Being attached to raising the deer, Maharaj Bharat forgot the rules and regulations for the advancement of spiritual life, and he gradually forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. Purport. From this we can understand how we have to be very cautious in executing our spiritual duties by observing the rules and regulations and regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. We must rise early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangala Arati, worship the deities, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, study the Vedic literatures, and follow all the rules prescribed by the Acharyas and the spiritual master. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down, even though we may be very highly advanced. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.5, Yajna dana tapa karma natyacham karyamevata yajnodhanam tapascheva pavanani manishkina. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great soul. Even if one is in the renounced order, he should never give up the regulative principles. He should worship the deity and give his time and life to the service of Krishna. He should also continue following the rules and regulations of austerity and penance. These things cannot be given up. One should not think oneself very advanced simply because one has accepted the sannyas order. The activities of Bharat Maharaj should be carefully studied for one's own spiritual advancement. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatale Shatani. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. You are glorious because you follow the program that Srila Prabhupada is speaking about in this purport. And we are hearing from Bharat Maharaj in detail how he is losing focus on his own spiritual practice. Yeah, he was a very advanced, or he is a very advanced devotee. Having developed his relationship to the Lord in such a way that he actually feels emotions. Yeah, when we have relationship in this world, we feel emotions. When we have a son, when we have a girlfriend, when we have a wife, husband. And we feel emotions very strongly. Yeah, we laugh, we cry, we feel pain, we feel joy, because it's a real relationship and it's a real interaction. And Bharat Maharaj, he was showing that kind of emotions because he was living his relationship with the Lord. It was not artificial. But even on that stage, due to being inattentive, in one hand inattentive, but mainly being distracted, he lost his focus on the spiritual practice. In the Vedic scriptures, for example, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the goal of life is very clearly established that we have to develop our love for Krishna. That's the goal of life. Why is it the goal of life? Because that's actually our natural position. Everything else is artificial. And artificial means it's like a diseased condition now. We are in a diseased condition. We are behaving in a way which is unnatural. We are in a way mad, crazy. But the natural condition, the healthy condition, is to love Krishna, to have a relationship with Krishna. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita himself, he says that we should love him. And he's very practical. He says, you just think of me all the time. Always think of me, always make plans about how you can connect with me. And he says, if you do that in faith, you will always be with me. You will not be separated. But this is not possible for everyone. It's a very high stage. And Krishna is very merciful. He says if you cannot do this due to your conditioning, maybe you don't have this love for me, then at least you should practice. You should engage yourself in a spiritual practice in order to cultivate that love, cultivate that desire. Just going to read it in Bhagavad Gita, it's in the 12th chapter. Just fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain these regulative principles which Srila Prabhupada mentions very clearly in his purport. We have to rise early in the morning, we have to take a shower, we have to come to the Mangala Arati, to worship the deities. Either we are directly worshiping the deities, or we are dressing by doing the puja, or we indirectly worship the deities by chanting japa. What's the service to the deity? Because the holy name of Krishna are different. When we study the Vedic literatures, we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, this is also a service to Krishna. It's also a service to Jagannath. He's present, listening, and he's enjoying. He's in everyone's heart. He can feel all the emotions in everyone, and he's enjoying this. He's the Rasa Raj, no? He likes to enjoy these emotions in the devotee. So this is also a service. It's a very simple process, very simple principles. And what happens, Krishna says, if we do this, then we will get this desire. Because if we do it, we get up in the morning, the curtain opens, we see the form, immediately an impression is in our mind. The Lord is so magnanimous, He's so beautiful, He's so merciful, He's so kind. And we see Him. And through our senses, our consciousness can connect with Him. If we chant, we chant the name, we hear the name, we connect with Krishna through His name, and by chanting His name, all the memories in our heart come up of His wonderful pastimes, of His form, His qualities, His love. If we worship the deity on the altar, we touch Him, we feel His amazing touch. When we listen Bhagavatam, we hear again about Him. And in this way, we all know the desire comes. It automatically comes. Usually when we get up in the morning, we don't want to get up. We don't want to, no, we want to continue sleeping. We don't want to take a shower. We don't want to go to Mangala Arati. We don't want to do this whole routine. It's always the same. We don't want to listen Bhagavatam, especially not if Damodar Prasad class is giving the class. We don't want to chant because sitting for almost 2 hours on the floor, chanting the same thing again and again, and I know already my mind is always going here and there. But if we do it, if we make an experiment okay, today I'm just going to follow the whole program completely. I will not deviate for 1 minute. I get up, I come at 4:30, I'm here when the curtain opens. I go through the whole Mangala Arati, I chant my japa, I greet the deities, I worship Srila Prabhupada, I do kirtan with the devotees, I dance for the pleasure of the Lord, I sit down, I speak, or I hear Srimad Bhagavatam. The time when I get up, I will have a desire in my heart to be with the Lord. This is guaranteed. It is guaranteed. Because the Acharya, the pure devotee of the Lord, is given the process. And if one takes the process, he or she will have the desire to attain Krishna. And this desire is the only way how we can be again with Krishna. There's nothing else. It's not how many shlokas I know. It's not how nicely I can cook. It's not how nicely I can dress the Lord, I can do arati. It's not how melodious I can sing. It's not how many books I distribute. It's not how nice I tie my dhoti. It's not how nice sikh I have, how beautiful tilak. It's how much I want to be with Krishna. How much I want to please Him. Loyal, this intense desire, that's the only thing which Krishna wants. And the only way for us, we don't have it now, to get it, is by following this routine. Krishna is very merciful. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, those who cannot follow that routine. How many people live in Zurich? How many people live in Zurich around? In the, agglomeration, maybe 1 million?
Maybe, yes.
How many we were today in the Mangala Arati?
4%.
4. How many percent is that? So 10,000 is 1%. No? Yeah.
One out of 100 is 1%.
No, from 1 million, 10,000 is 1%. Not much. Many know there is a temple. Many know what we are doing. Many have been here. So few they do. Because it's and Krishna knows. That's why he mercifully is always an alternative. So he says, if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. You might not be able to do this whole sadhana bhakti, so then you do karma yoga. You work for Krishna. And Prabhupada gives nice examples. You can give money, you can give land, you can give your expertise, you can help by engaging physically. So then you do that. And in this way, you will also purify. And you will also develop some attraction to Krishna. But maybe you are unable to do that also. Like Krishna says, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. You work, maybe you have a very good job, you earn a lot of money, but what do? You renounce your money. You give it to ideally Krishna, And I want to read to you something which is interesting. Sometimes, and I was even reading, Bhaktisiddhanta a few weeks back, how he was saying, if you do welfare activity, like Jairam Prabhu, he works in an organization who they want to do good for the blind people by investing in blind dogs who help blind people, right? So this is a welfare activity, and people give money. What they do, what we hear here, they give their money to this organization, and those help the blind people by training dogs. You know? The dog will help. And Bhaktisiddhanta, I was reading the other day, he was saying that actually all these activities, they are harmful because they are not really helping to develop Krishna consciousness really, they divert him. But here Prabhupada says something in the purport which gives a little bit of different understanding. And I'm not saying that Bhaktisiddhanta's statement is not correct. That's not the intention. If one attaches, I read. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. Srila Prabhupada very nicely analyzes how there are obstacles for conditioning, and we are not to judge. Why is he not coming? Why is she not coming? Of course, that also has its place. We should discriminate that those who could come and should come, why they're not coming. But then some they cannot come, or they cannot follow the principles. I'm not even saying they should come to the temple. That would be a wrong statement. These principles can be practiced wherever we are. But somebody might not practice these principles, and there are reasons, because of family situations, social considerations, so many obstacles. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members, or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause.
Can you repeat that?
It is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day, and there is special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Thus one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. It is also found that when one is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness, gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here, because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually, and in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. This is an important lesson. We hear an important, we find this understanding in the Vedic scriptures, because every person should have the possibility to elevate. The Vedic religion is not fanatic. it's not just for a small amount of people that can be elevated, but everyone can be elevated. Even the animals, even the plants can elevate themselves in Krishna consciousness. Even if they're not consciously. Yeah. Of course, here we're speaking about not directly Krishna conscious elevation, but preparing oneself to eventually accept Krishna consciousness. And the principle which is given here is that when one gives up the fruits of one's activities, what happens is the mind gets purified. If the mind is not purified, you cannot accept Krishna. So many get books, prasadam, but they cannot accept Krishna because of a lack of purity. We can say it's also some sukriti. But how can you attract this sukriti? It's by purity of mind. Krishna continues, there is different, even the next verse he says, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Maybe some people, they don't want to accept Krishna, they don't want to they don't want to follow the sadhana, they don't want to do anything for Krishna, they don't even want to be charitable. They are very attached. Even for them there is a way. Cultivate knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind. 12. 12.
12. Yeah.
12, yes. So for everyone there is a way how to elevate consciousness, and this is something we have to understand ourselves. We are here, we should stick to this process of sadhana bhakti, and at the same time we have to be very expert in seeing how different people can be elevated. And this is done in Srila Prabhupada's desire of Daivi Varnashram. Srila Prabhupada, he didn't have a vision of just 5 people chanting Hare Krishna at 5:30 and that's okay, now we are done, that's good. His idea was that the whole society somehow or other becomes connected to Krishna and slowly makes spiritual progress. And this is done by Varnashram and Dharma. So the Prabhupada was clear, not everybody will be able to accept Krishna consciousness, but if they follow Varnashram and Dharma, if they perform their duties, and especially if they perform the duties for the pleasure of Krishna, then it's Daivi Varnashram. Then they get immense benefit. And those who are fortunate enough, who have accepted Krishna consciousness as the goal of life, they should always be careful. Today we are here, we are following the routine, we are practicing sadhana bhakti, but the platform of sadhana bhakti is a very dangerous platform. Every moment one can fall. Spiritual life is like a razor's edge. You can cut yourself. You're not a man, we have to shave. Many times we cut ourselves due to being inattentive. Of course, nowadays you have Gillette, they have some nice protection built in. But some they use the blades, and then you really, if you go a little bit too much this side or that side, or twist it, you will cut yourself. And this has happened to Bharat Maharaj. He just got distracted by a deer. He started to direct his love to the deer, and he thought about his relationship with Krishna. Yes. Prabhupada is so strong. He even says one should not think oneself very advanced simply because one has accepted the sannyasa order. And even a sannyasi has to follow this. He should never give it up. He should always follow the principles of sadhana bhakti. On one hand to protect oneself, and on the other hand to give the example to others. So I want to thank all of you for taking part in this sadhana bhakti. The tendency is that we always forget about this, even devotees who have been practicing for many years. We trivialize our practice. Trivialize means, yeah, it can be just like this. We can make adjustments. But Srila Prabhupada never made any compromise. And we have the tendency to think that by our great activities we will please the Lord. You know, I become a great preacher, I become a great manager, I become a great priest. And once I'm established in my greatness, my life will be perfect. And that's the way. Like, we can engage ourselves on that platform. But we should always remember that this is an inferior platform if it's not done with a desire to please the Lord. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadana Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gauranga Ki Jai. So, for example, if I give an example, I distribute thousands of books, but I hardly think of Mahaprabhu's pleasure. I mostly think of I'm absorbed in the pleasure I get from the interactions with people, how they admire my purity, my knowledge, my expertise, how I relish the feeling of admiration from others for being such a good preacher. The preaching is glorious. Mahaprabhu is always happy. So many people get connected to him. So now we compare it. I stand here at 4:30 in the morning and I just look at the deities I present myself and I chant the holy name with the desire, Jagannath, I want to please you because you are so wonderful and you deserve to be glorified in the early morning by me. I'm supposed to come here and glorify you. Even I cannot think of you all the time, but at least let me do it now. And I'm so happy that others join me so we can together give you pleasure. this is far more superior on the devotional platform. Even externally, it looks that the preaching is a big deal, and it is nice. But on a devotional platform, Jagannath, he can only relish our devotion, our desire. And I want to mention that because we, in our sadhana practice, we go through these challenges. It's difficult. So few are doing it. Why should I do it? And therefore we need to hear. We have to remind ourselves. And the best thing we can do, we can encourage others to also follow that. If we are inspired, we should try to help others. That's also preaching. We don't have to only bring new people, but we also have to inspire those who are already here. Take part, chant, hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And that will also please the Lord very much. Actually, it says in Bhagavad Gita, no one is more dear to him than one who explains Bhagavad Gita to others. So if one inspires a devotee to chant better, to worship the Lord better and more, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam better and more, then he is most dear to the Lord. And in that sense, this sadhana practice is the most important part of our Krishna consciousness movement. Because by doing that sadhana, we only get the qualification to serve the Lord. We should preach, we should worship the deities, we should clean the temple, we should establish Varnashram Brahma, we should protect the cows, so many things. But this desire comes through the sadhana. Therefore the sadhana is the first. That should not be neglected. And the sadhana can only be done in the congregation in this age. This we also have to remember. Alone we cannot do it. Right, Chairman Prabhu, you have practical experience?
I have a sad experience.
It's a sad experience. Alone you don't have any chance to maintain your sadhana. It's a Sankirtan, age of Sankirtan. We have to do it together. And therefore I'm very grateful today to be with you, Hare Krishna, to worship Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Shishibhornitai, and may we continue to do so and improve our consciousness, and this will please Krishna. Any comments or questions? Feel Prabhupada is amazing, you can tell everything. Thank you for your attention.
There was from 12:12, huh? Those explanations purify the mind.
Yes. It's
Also
in
in the purport of 12:12. Or
the one about giving charity was
12,
No problem. No problem.
Wat voor Prabhupada? Precies.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Grantara Sadhana Bhakti Ki Jai. Back home, back to Godhead Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda.
Jai.
Gaura Vrinda.
Bingo. Next part of following program, Shiva Prasad Ki
Jai.
Yeah, true.
Prasad Prabhu Ki.
That is the test. How much you are eager to accept Prasad, and then you did the good morning program. But strangely, even those who don't come to Malarti are always very eager to accept Prasad. Yeah. So attractive.
It was very nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very good class. I understand all what you speak today. No, in my situation, all is 20 person, but I understand this online, this class.
Very nice. Thank you.
Krishna, Hare Града,
Schubert.
Krishna. Иду как очаг на кухню.
Siehst du Heke absolut.
Ich tue immer am Dienstagmorgen. Genau. Wir haben ja, mittlerweile. Ich mache es halt ein bisschen einfacher als die meisten. Und ja, weißt du, die anderen Budgets machen oft vor allem den Turban mehr. Und der Turban ist eigentlich dort, wo man kann mehr Zeit investieren kann. Und ich habe einfach mittlerweile so ein System, wo ich weiss, okay, das verpackt mich. Dann ist es nicht mal stressig, sondern ja. Ja, man muss schon dranbleiben, also man kann nicht Pause machen. Ja, wir haben das vor ein paar Monaten mal angefangen. Ein paar von uns, weil wir einfach zu wenig waren. Wir sind ja normal über 3 gewesen. Und dann haben wir gefunden, wir wollen irgendwie einen Weg finden, dass es einfach machbar ist. Und dann haben wir gefunden, wieso nicht eben ein bisschen einfacher anziehen. Und beide eigentlich, also auch der Markus, haben wir jetzt Chinas verredet. Er macht auch ein bisschen mehr, macht das ein bisschen vereinfacht. Und auf die Art und Weise braucht man einfach einen Pujari, oder? Wo ja oft fehlt. Und ich muss sagen, ich mache es gerne. Das ist schön. Und dann kannst du alle halbieren. Hast du auch schon mal dort das angezogen?
In Jugendabend.
Ach schon?
Aber nur gar nicht.
Okay. Das heisst, du willst das auch machen, oder?
Yes.